due to some technical difficulty here, I'm going to work with Jesse. Jesse's going to do most of the talking. Jesse, fill us in on what the latest is for the finals in the HTJHL action.
Hey, Teal. Yeah, thank you for having me on. It's a very sad day, honestly, today. I've been on the phone for the better portion of the day trying to come to a decision, obviously having to do with this COVID-19 or this coronavirus that has spread across the world and has now kind of hit the sporting world at a head. And we have decided as an executive, as an organization, and in conjunction with the Springfield Extreme organization, to go down to a best-of-3 championship final instead of a traditional best-of-7. It's an unprecedented move, but given the concerns around the spread of this virus and the serious nature of everything, I'm sure you've seen in the news, and everyone watching has seen in the news, tons of closures, shutdowns, full-on league to NCAA March Madness, for example, has been canceled. College World Series. I mean, the list from the last hour alone is crazy, really, just to talk about. So, it's scary. You got to take your precautions. Overall, this virus is mild for most people, but it's the vulnerable people that this is protecting. And therefore, again, we've gone to a 3-game series instead of a traditional 7. So game 1 tonight in Oakbank, game 2 in Oakbank on Saturday, and if necessary, game 3 next Wednesday in Ile-des-Chênes. And of course, this is all still pending on decisions coming down from Hockey Canada and possibly even the Manitoba government. We may not even play game 2 on Saturday at the rate that this is unfolding.
So 3 games set. We're all set to go. Who made this decision?
It was a co-decision between myself and the Kevin Augustine, who's the head coach / owner, basically, of the Extreme, as well as the league. I mean, it was on the league of our president, Ray Lang, for over a week already. And obviously yesterday's decision by the NBA, today the NHL, and all the other leagues filtering down from there to pause their season in light of this has affected that decision. Of course, those leagues have the luxury of time on their side and rinks that are, still open down the line. We don't. We have 2 rinks that are closing their doors and ice is melting in by the end of March here. So, by the severity of the situation, we don't know if we would have even have got to a game 7. We don't even know if we're going to get this this 3-game series off. Honestly, that's, if I had to personally ask me, at the rate this is moving with the closures and everything that's happening, I don't even know if we're going to get this 3-game series off. But for the time being, we couldn't do nothing. So we decided on a 3-game series, and we go game 1 tonight in Oakbank.
So it should be a good tilt. Talk to me a bit about the semis, because I mean, that's a game, that 7-game series you had with the Mudbugs could probably have been an ESPN 30 for 30 from what I've heard.
Easily, probably could have stretched it into 2 episodes. It was absolute classic, one for the ages. As we always, I don't know how these 2 teams do it, but they always seem to one up themselves when they meet in the playoffs. We talked a little bit about our history on this program before, but long and short of it, it was a 7-game series. We were up, the Comets, that is, of course, up 3-1, heading back home actually to try and close out the series. Red River pulled it out in overtime, 3-2. We had won game 4 in overtime, 2-1, and they kind of stole the momentum back for game 6, won 4-1 on home ice, forcing a game 7 back in Ile-des-Chênes Saturday night. And my God, game 7 in and of itself was a roller coaster of emotion. We were up 3-1 headed into the second period. We were up 3-1 early in the second period. Ended up falling down 5-3, just a battle of emotion and swings of momentum. And ended up tying it shorthanded in the third period, forcing overtime, and 15 seconds into overtime, we pulled it out. So it was absolutely wild, big packed barn there in Ile-des-Chênes, and everyone left home pretty happy except for the opposing fans, but unbelievable series overall.
you know what, if you could say that it was probably the finals of the series, you would do that, considering the finals will only be a 3-game set. Talk about the other semis that was happening in the opponent you're going to face in the.
Yeah, the extreme first place team. So they took on a fourth place Steinbach Huskies team. Gave them a bit of a good fight. One game, game 4, Steinbach staved off elimination. Springfield was up 3-0. They actually tied it with 30 seconds left and won it in overtime as well, just to stave off elimination. Fell short in game 5 to push it to a further 6-game series, but overall, very tight series, hard fought both ways. Steinbach was missing a couple of key guys due to injury, and that ultimately was their demise. So,
talk about precautions of this current health scare we're facing. The series, regardless, the league, and how great this season has been. Let's comment on that, because great hockey played in the JHL this year.
Yeah, it's really disappointing, to have this be the culmination of the season. Not something I would have even have predicted just yesterday. Honestly, I thought, not to downplay the situation, but I really didn't grasp, I guess, how serious this coronavirus was, and now it's kind of coming to a head, and really it's just the tip of the iceberg, unfortunately, here in Canada. So, yeah, like you said, it's been a phenomenal year, close. The parity's probably never been this tight in the league. Scoring was back up this year. You had some really good stories with some rookies, some imports. Again, that's new to the league. So many good storylines that would have played out had we been able to finish off this series, this Game 7 bout between the two top teams in the league, top power play in the Comets in our squad, top penalty kill in the Extreme. It was really making for a great finish to what you said, what was a really good season. And unfortunately, a bit of a dark cloud here on the conclusion of the season. But ultimately, people's health and people's lives are clearly more important and bigger than hockey, and that's obviously why the decision was made today to shorten it to a 3-gamer.
Certainly, when you think about a 3-game series, there's no chance or no time to sit back. You have to go and win 2 out of 3 here. So what does the Comets have to do to uncrown the first place team here?
Yeah, it's a great point. It totally changes the dynamic of the series. When you know you have a 7-game series ahead of you, you do have the tendency as a coach probably to roll 4 lines, get a feel out for the series. You try and steal one on the road, which we would have been for these first 2 games. Now with the stakes so high, mistakes are that much amplified and exemplified. So, like you said, there's really no time for an error. You need to go after it right away. You almost got to treat this game as as a Game 5 or a Game 6 must win, because if you fall tonight, your season could be over already on Saturday.
So yeah, no chance really to slow down, no chance to sit back and see what the Extreme are going to show. You've got to play your A game. You've got to play what you've got to go forth. How do you expect the boys to come out in Game 1?
Well, I'm hoping still riding high off that 7th-game victory. It was a jubilant bunch, as you can imagine. And that was by far and above our best period of hockey, that third period, coming back from 2 goals and tying it. And really not giving the Mudbugs an inch. I think we proved we were the better team that game, and especially, in that period. And that was some of the crispest, cleanest hockey I've seen us play in years, honestly. It was just really fast-paced. Passes were on the tape, causing turnovers at will. So if we can continue that level of play, I think we'll give ourselves a really good shot at taking Game 1 and ultimately this shortened series.
Injuries play a toll right now. Are we pretty healthy behind?
Yeah, generally speaking, we lost one of our depth centermen to a block shot. He's still nursing that. He was hoping to come into this series, in later part of it. And, if you feel for a guy like that, it's his last year too. He's a 21-year-old aging out. So you really feel for a guy like that who probably won't get a chance to play in this series now because of this change, as well as my captain. Again, we talked about the responsibilities of work and travel. My captain's up north right now, working in northern Manitoba. So again, he would have entered into this series next week had we gone there, and he actually may get a chance to play Game 3 if the series does in fact go to a Game 3 Wednesday in Ile-des-Chênes. So part of me wants to see it go to a third game so he can get in and get a taste of some playoff finals action. But ultimately, that's just the card we're dealt with, and we got to play it. So no one's feeling sorry for anyone here. It's both teams are at the same disadvantage by having a shortened series. So you just got to pull up your big boy pants and get out there and play.
The big boy pants we put on starting tonight in Oakbank, Saturday Oakbank, Wednesday Ile-des-Chênes if necessary. Jesse, I want to thank you very much. Look forward to recapping this 3-game series when it's all said and done.
Thank you so much to you for having me on, and all the best to you. Stay safe. Wash those hands.
You as well. Keep it clean, and good luck to both teams, the Extreme and the Comets, heading into finals action. Hanover Taché Junior Hockey League. Go check out the Barns and Oakbank in Ile-des-Chênes, and go and see. You're going to miss professional sports. Get down to your local.
Or the only game in town.
The only game in town. That's right. Thanks, Jesse.
Thanks, Dale. Take care.
Bye-bye.